hello. How are you? Good Sunday morning. Good to see ya. Well, it's just me today. Jeff woke up this morning and lost his voice. So give me 1 second here. So anyway, you have a me in the pilot seat, and I just texted Jeff. He's not sick. He just says he's lost his voice. And I said, well, find your voice. But there are a lot of people around the globe that are sick. Um, this flu here in the United States has reached, well, I don't know if they call it an epidemic, but it's certainly much more serious than what they had anticipated. They're still telling people to get your flu shots. You know, talk to the person who got their flu shot last October and now is sicker than you know what. So listen, if you're not feeling good, get out there. I just want to say hello to everyone. Hi, Davey. How you doing? Deborah, Red Sky, Deb, Robin, Robert, good to see you. Deborah, good to see you. Esther, Mark, Knowledge Seeker, Carolyn, good to see you. Jeff, Luminous, Kyle, all good morning to you. So I'm here and I'll be the voice for Jeff. Let me restate that. I can't be the voice for anyone but myself. But Jeff is here in thought, and I know he's most likely watching as well. So how is everyone? A lot of strange stuff going on. How about that event in Hawaii? You got to admit, that is some crazy nuts. I mean, and I think what really got me was how the governor and the guy running the place, right? Well, kind of are bad. Yeah, I know. It kind of sucks to see everyone thought that death was at their door, but hey, you know, mistakes do happen. Well, I guess they do happen, but not when you're telling me that there's a freaking ICBM missile coming in on top of me. What's happened? You know, the great thing about our group and how we view things is that we can step back. And when you step back, you got to go, something is going on. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Tyler over at Secure Team did a really good one on the event that happened in California last year, that with Cox Cable and I think the other cable company out there. I only thought there was Comcast. Is there other cable companies, really? Anyway, that now you could say it was, you know, a hijacked, a hacker got in there, but whatever they played was a pretty convincing emergency broadcast warning. So who knows? Maybe they are planning something for us. It's hard to say. Well, there's 85 people in here. Good morning, Nick. Good to see you. Jeff Schubert, how are you, my friend? Haven't seen any of your poems lately. So, look at there. Brian, good to see you as well. Give you a call later on. Speaking of which, because, you know, I was dealing with the bout of fibromyalgia until Lammy Pie got involved. First of all, I want to say, Angela, I have your email right here. I'll be responding to it. See, this is the way I can take care of some business. And the fourth principle of energy, the conservation of energy, correct? Elaine, Still need to get you on here. Um, I still believe for tomorrow night, we are going to be with Daisy Von Bruin. We're going to be talking about Planet X. Is what we're seeing in the world the result of something else out there? Are we seeing, for instance, here's a theory for you. We know that frequencies exist, right? We know that all things respond to frequency, no matter what it is. So, wouldn't solar systems generate their own frequency? We know the planet Earth does. We know that Mars, we know our sun does. So, as bioelectric masses, which we are, we all put out 20 watts of energy. Still an amazing thing. We don't know how that works, but and it's just like Dr. Miller was talking on Friday night. Wasn't he great? He's going to come back. I tell you, that's the type of guy, and I digress on my point here, but that's the type of guy, you could sit back and I could drop LSD and just listen to this dude and, man, go off. And yeah, I'm not advocating that. I'm just saying the man's knowledge is so robust and so rounded. You sit there, and many of you, I have to go back and listen to the interviews too, because, it's like, oh, wow, I missed that one. But hey, he's going to come back on. Love the guy. Love the guy. Getting Laura Eisenhower on in February. Looking forward to that. Yeah, I agree with you, Brian. I'd love to have him on every Friday. He's just the type of guy. If I could get that, if we ever could work that out, yeah, I would do that definitely. Cheers. So 111 people in the chat room right now watching. Numbers are everything. Trisha G, I hope you're feeling better, dear. We're going to get you back on. Going to try to get her in there this week. I mean, like I said, this thing is going out. Listen, I want to give a good shout out to a friend who we become friends, who is giving me some wonderful, wonderful intel of what's going on in the UK. And all I've got to say is, as weird as it is here, it's the same over there. In fact, I'm beginning to think, I get people writing me from Australia. We're all around the world. Thanks to y'all. We are. Everyone. This thing just continues to grow, but it seems like it's everywhere. And apparently there are a lot of sick people in London. Apparently a lot of sick people. And, they're going to try to keep that tampered down. We all know that. So just wanted to let some of the people know that if I haven't gotten to your emails, I will. So, all right. So here's our not your normal Sunday morning topic. Right now, the sun is about to rise where I live at, here in Colorado. I was out earlier, and it was cold, but I love it. I do love it. I swear there's something about me that likes the cold. I don't know, maybe in a previous adaptation of something. I don't know. Belinda, good to see you. Marlene, good to see you. Mary's Brady, good to see you. You think you've got the flu? That's not good. Darren, dog, good to see you. Good morning. So I get the most amazing view. I can walk up to this point and I can see the eastern horizon. Otherwise, there's a lot of houses around here and it can obscure the view. So I'm looking to the east. almost due east is where the moon is at. And the moon is literally in the waning part. It's just a thin, thin crescent. Tomorrow, the moon and the sun will be virtually side by side. So here's my point. The moon is not that large compared to the Earth. And I keep on thinking, you know, as the sun gets there and the Earth blocks it completely, gravity. So the moon doesn't rotate. Show me any picture that the dark side of the moon has ever faced the Earth. It doesn't. So I'm looking at this, meditating on this, going, okay, now I can actually see with binoculars that I carry, I can actually see the Earth shine. So I can see the Sea of Tranquility. I can see all the spots up there, right? And so what I'm seeing is the Earth, you know, the moon is now getting behind the Earth. This is how it works. They say, they tell us, they teach us that the reason why the moon is able to stay in the orbit that it is in is that there is a balance between apparently the moon's gravity, the Earth's gravity, and the sun's gravity. I don't know how the moon has gravity. They don't tell you that. You're just supposed to accept that. And I'm thinking, well, if it's behind the Earth, wouldn't that balance come unhinged? Unless gravity supersedes everything else, which it doesn't. And so what I wrote here when I got back in was this: moon, gravity, what a reality. So, hey, Rocker Chick, good to see you. Doc of Illusion, good to see you. Havoc, good to see you. Jerry, yep. Pink Floyd, you got that. Jen, good to see you. Debbie, good to see you. TDF, good to see you. So every time it brings me back to a grounding when I look at the moon. It doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't. And if that doesn't make any sense, how is the heck does all the rest of this make any sense? So, what y'all think of the patch video? Boy, you folks, I mean, that one is really getting the comments. And I still contend we live in a world of symbols. I call it symbology. It is how we operate. We started communicating. You know, I said in this thing, and it was off the cuff, but it was kind of serious, is that sometimes we think the whole world speaks English and the universe too at the same time. And I don't think that that's the case. I mean, I just don't see it as that way. And oh, by the way, I'm getting a new mic. Yay. Yeah, this one has been a good one. So if anyone is out there needing a microphone, send me an email. First one who sends me the email. And when I get my new one in, I will send you this one. So there you go. So if anyone's looking for, and it's a decent mic, it really is. Just that sometimes you just get a different model. So getting back to disclosure, when I was doing that research, I had to get up and several times just get away from my desk. I was telling my wife, I said, it's like going down this rabbit trail, but allow me to digress. So how many of you have seen on the nature shows what they do to the fire ants down in Texas? They actually poured hot lead down into a fire ant bed. And what they found was this extremely complex architecture, right? My point to this is, as I was doing the research on the patches and the logos, someone said, are these just all patches? Most of them are, several were logos. But it kind of felt like that. You know, sometimes when you go down the rabbit trail, it just goes like this. This one, and the odd thing about it was, folks, regardless of your position, where you stand on religion, where you stand on science, where you stand on philosophy, and that's primarily the big three, right? All right, this is what I came to the conclusion. We have to ask for permission to leave the Earth's atmosphere. Convinced of it. The chevron, right? I mean, if that isn't a giveaway, it's there. The dragon is everywhere. I mean, whether they're talking about it in the constellation of Drago, whether they're talking about it in, you know, the prophetic written words, whatever, or if they're even talking about it as a actual deity, entity. I don't know. I think all deities are entities. I think we call them deities is just because they know a few things that we don't know. It's true. I mean, if you had all the knowledge of God, wouldn't you be God? Just saying. So let's get back to the patches. I found myself having to get up because when you stare and you begin to scour through, and I went through, oh, there are some others I could do a second whole video on that you begin to look into this thing. Strong magic, strong symbolism, strong numerology, and obvious reference. Now, whether you want to say it's just the creative imagination, again, I don't know where they get someone. I mean, is there, as I said, is there a university? Is there a company that says empaths are us? And hey, maybe we ought to start a company of empaths. You know, no one's ever done that before. I'm sorry. I have a moment. I've got to write something down. Hold on one second, folks. Then it just occurred to me, yeah, they do. It's called the CIA, the NSA. But seriously, so wherever the messaging is coming from, and as I contended at the end of that video, was that just because you don't understand the language, they're not responsible for that. And if you're demanding that they speak to you on your terms, they're not responsible for that either. And unfortunately, with knowledge, it's so often embedded in mazes. I mean, how many of us have been on this road already? You know, I'll say this. When I was a Christian, I was one coitus messed up individual like the rest of us. But at least I was asleep with everybody else. And the story worked. The spell was working. You know, it's the awakening process is like the birth process. I mean, we may not physically feel it the same way that the birth process into this death plane was, but you know, the awakening process is no less traumatic than I think physical birth itself. Just saying. And because the more you activate, as Dr. Miller said, the more you start activating these synaptic pathways, the more aware you become, and the more the conundrums, the more the things that you begin to see. I mean, I was last night, I'm doing another Mandela, and this one's turning out pretty cool too. You know, it's a good way. I mean, Barbara DeLong, big hug to you, hon, because I'm telling you, all of us need to be coloring before you go to sleep at night. I mean, that's what I'm doing. And it really is, it gets you into a really nice meditative state. And I think that this is part of that process of the awakening. We're laying down new synaptic pathways. By the way, I had it in my note, and so here's 174 of us are in here. Good morning to everyone. Welcome, everyone. Zachary, good to see you. Soul Journey, hello. How are you? Terrier, good to see you. I've been thinking about, Natalie, good to see you. Good morning. This whole thing that Dr. Miller brought up about the soul. Now, that was an interesting thought, that the soul could be the fabric of this. I mean, this. And then, this is while I was doing my coloring. And then it occurred to me, what we all experienced, of those of you who were here and made history, all of you that were in for the Mirror Awareness Project, folks, we broke some ground here. I have received, I counted them this morning, 37 emails. Now, I've never received 37 emails from a single show. I can, and I'm not going to name names, but I've read your emails. Folks, we're going to need to do this again. We did something. I think I'm beginning to comprehend it. Let me just put it, you can comprehend something, but when you actually apprehend it, does that make sense? But we did something. Hello, Sandra D. How are you? Hope you're feeling better. I'm telling you, there's something here. I am seeing something much deeper. Actually, I read, a person wrote me yesterday, and she wrote to me much of what I was experiencing while we were doing this live collectively. I'm telling you. Many of you have written and have talked about more vivid dreams. I've heard that from 3 different people. I've heard there seemed to be a commonality of a thread of an energy release. Now, and I won't give the name, but I did agree with her on her explanation. I think that we also, what's a good metaphor in this one? I think we may have rung the doorbell, because I think that when you have that kind of shift of energy, focused energy, there were over 220 people that did the experiment live. I may even have that number lower, but that's what I believe that the average came out. 220 individuals came together to do something that the world would say was ridiculous. But we did it. And look what happened. There was just a couple of people who said, well, I didn't get anything out of it, but this was interesting. So let's think about doing this again. You know, If anyone out there knows of any person who has experience in this, I couldn't find anyone except for Dr. Now his name escaped me, who actually has done studies, and his study on this and was with the NDEs, the near-death experiences. So I think we can do that. Jen, you said you could see the moon right now from where you're bed at. It's pretty, isn't it? You see what I'm talking about? How it's just that very thin filament of light. You can actually, and if you look really close there, you can actually see the earth shine. So, yeah. So apparently we, I think we send out a vibration into the ether. I'm convinced, folks, that if we could, let's expand this out. Let's say tenfold. We got 2,000 people to do the experiment at the same time. Now, I don't know. I thought 3 minutes was a good time. Some people thought if we would do it for 5, we could try that. But think if we had 2,000 people. Think if we got 200,000 people. I wonder what kind of a portal we would open up on that. Wow. Jeffrey, Dr. Eben Alexander has been talking about some of the same types of thing Wayne said. An interesting guy. Okay, would you send me an email? I'll try to contact him. Rocker chick, daytime moons freak me out. I don't. I'm trying to figure out is that, how they said the myth of the legend of the dark moon, right? At the moment of the eclipse, how it manifests itself. I don't know. I'm going to be reaching out to Claudia, the physicist, and try to get her on and see if she can begin to bring us up to date on her research. No doubt things are happening out there. The sun, I mean, if you were to judge a person's heart rate by the amount of activity, right, that you could see, well, then our sun is on life support. I mean, it is like zero energy output from this thing. So there you go. All right. Thought I might share a couple of stories. How many of you have been through the Denver airport? Could I get a raise of hands? Who many of you have ever gone through the Denver airport? And more specifically, how many of you have ever seen those murals down by customs? That's where they are. Well, she is brilliant, Deborah. Claudia is a brilliant, brilliant physicist. And boy, she paid a price for it. Anyway, so how many of you have seen that? Yeah, it is, Nick. It's pretty, it is crazy. All right. So if any of you have seen those murals, check this out. Okay. Give me 1 second here. Y'all check this out. This is what's in the Las Vegas airport. I've got no desire to go back to that city. It's bad enough what took place there on that, whatever that was, whether it was a ritual sacrifice or whatever. But check this out, folks. What the heck? Okay. Look at that one. Let's see if I can open this up in a new link. There we go. What? Is this the bird people? I mean, I don't know. Okay, let's get back over to the story. Oh, here's one. I got, is that a unicorn? I don't know. Is that evil? Okay. Here's another one. If any of you been in Las Vegas and have seen these, let me know. I guess, is that it's supposed to represent a dream? Ay, ay, ay. Oh, here's one. I don't know. What is the interpretive value on this? Is there another species here that can shapeshift? Are these the bird people? Here's one. I mean, if anyone's been there to the Las Vegas airport and have seen this artwork, very interesting. Oh, wow. I see where they're going with this. Okay. Thought y'all might like to see this one. And you can go up there, you can see this. Oh, now that's just creepy. All right. Moving right on along. How about this? Want better sleep? Write a to-do list. There we go. I think that's kind of like with Myman doing the things. Now, here's something I wanted to show you. Folks, we're seeing more and more stories like this. I mean, this generation, we have got to figure out how to reach out to them. I mean, if you're killing a parental, think of this. How about this story here? I saw this one and I wanted to bring this out. Robots taking over, AI to sink the world into unemployed despair in hellish dystopia. What? And by the way, this whole thing with these sex robots is just getting creepy. I mean, now listen, you can do whatever you want, but I find this as more and more evidence of this evolution that we're seeing in transhumanism. Someone wrote me, and I happen to agree with you, that what we're probably witnessing is what's the word I'm looking for? I want to use the right words. A schism of our species. In other words, one part of our species most likely is going to evolve in the transhuman evolution. Another schism of our species is us, the ones who reject that. We see our path as a species lies higher. And then there's another schism that basically goes and does the retrograde. I don't know. So, what is the perfect age? I want to hold this one out and I want to come back on this one because I want to go and we'll talk a little bit. And then, of course, here's the same thing. Flu season is shaping up as one of the worst in years, like we did not know that already. So, here's the deal, folks. What is the perfect age? I'm 62. Now, my body is in actual years, I'm still in my 50s. That's cool. I can dig that. So what is the perfect age? Been thinking about this. And oddly enough, are you ready for this? Apparently, most of the people are saying the perfect age for them is between 55 and 70. Wow. Has it been in front of us the whole time that what we didn't realize that the real prize to us individually getting older, we get wiser. We definitely, I think, this is just my opinion, get a second bite at the apple. I feel more alive than I have any time in my life. You know, I was thinking about that point of departure for myself. I was at one time deathly afraid. Isn't that, have you ever heard that term? Deathly afraid of dying. The DDD. I knew a lot of people that were like that. Then, when the God spell was broken over my life, and I started the awakening process, and I was already there. This is the strange thing about it is, you don't arrive here just serendipitously. No, all of us are here because of our individual journeys that has brought us to this point individually of meeting at an apex, a meeting place. I love it. I think we've done marvelous in building this community. So then I was in that point that, well, now I'm not so sure about this death thing, you know, because I still had the tentacles of the heaven-hell concept. You know, trust me, there were many a times in my meditative contemplating of life that I went, all right, Steiger, what if? Now, if you start playing the what ifs, I can tell you it ain't going to end well. Now, you can do a survey of it, but here's my point. I said, okay, so what then? Now, after years of finally getting to this place, I think this is going to be one awesome send-off. I think that's how I'm going to look at it. I mean, I don't need to pack anything. That's pretty cool. And if they say it's a blaze of light and what have you, far out. That's all I got to say. Far out. And I'm going to love it. So back to that perfect age. 65. Okay, knowledge seeker. Yeah, I'll be 63 this year. I've got to tell you, they don't talk about this. Because you don't. I mean, you know, I look at this, I can step outside of my body and I can see my life. And allow me to digress. I'll share a story. So yesterday evening, you know, was doing the meditative thing, got up, was heading to the restroom. I went, and as soon as my hand hit the light switch, I was carried back to a dream I had 35 years ago. I still remember it. It was a vision. And it occurred to me, the older I get, the more opportunity I have to explore that. Because my mind has gotten to the point where it's open enough that I don't summarily reject anything. I think that's one of the things. The other thing, by the way, that Dr. Miller and I, we had this conversation off after we left the live show The true secret, and I think that this may be the secret to life, is learning how to live in the now. It's an interesting concept. Star Trek, The Next Generation, they did I think it was what, the 6th, 7th movie, Insurrection. The writers on that really did a great job of depicting what a species could do if they learned to live in the moment. And of course, the theme there was, and I believe Dr. Miller would back this up, is that by able to slow time down, to be able to live in a moment of time is an epoch, an eternity. And I think that that's part of that ascension process. Just me. I know I kind of just rambling on, but I think that there is something that's affecting all of us. And again, getting back to this whole point, the universe is a vast place. Radiation, frequencies, we're life forms. You know, we live on a planet that protects us, shields us from a lot of that. But nevertheless, it cannot shield us from, for instance, if there's a frequency change. I saw earlier someone said that the Earth, you know, the Schumann resonance, which is the Earth's frequency, has been monitoring, and it is changing. It's modulating to some very high numbers. So if the Earth is feeling it, what does that have to do with us? I think it has to do with us a lot. I'm just reading Melanie Warland's. The mirror reflects your thoughts largely, depends on if it's self or if you're looking off just to the sides as a divining tool. She's right. So I guess we need to talk a little bit more on that, huh? All right. I tried to do that video for you on, you know, mirror gazing 101. And so two things happen, and you're the audience on this, and so I'll just put this out because thousands of people are going to hear this. There is the ability to do inner reflection, inner seeing, when you really get and focus in. If you start going to the sides of the peripheral, this is how it was explained to me. You individually are moving through time. Shh. Right now, we all are. We're collectively sharing this moment, but individually, we are moving through time. The mirror, if you look off to the sides, begins to break down the spatial dimension that we are in. And that begins to open up your third eye's ability to see the dead. I don't want to call them the dead. They're only dead because they don't have a body. Life forms. I've read where some people have actually used it to actually step outside their bodies. I think that would be an interesting experience. I don't know. But anyway, that's the power that we have here. By the way, I'm not a real advocate of Facebook, but you know, this would kind of be interesting to pull together for a group on this. I think I'd like to do more exploration. I don't think it's experimentation, it's exploration. I can't find, again, any studies done on a mass scale of collectively large groups coming together and using that medium to begin to focus on. I think that, I don't know, we may be able to actually open up like a real portal. So I want to share something else with you. So I have another project that I have been working on, and I thought I would share this with you. See what you think. So, there it is. Ba-da-ba-doo-ba. So how many of you are follow the Orion system? There's 206 people in here. Wow. All right. So Spitzer, the infrared deep field telescope, and Hubble did a deep field look into Orion. And I took the individual frames of the JPL and the others that were working and putting the overlays to this. Folks, check this out. Tell me if you don't see some of the stuff that I saw. So check this out. The first thing I found so interesting is how Orion looks. We can't see the full light spectrum, and so we're limited, but this is in the infrared. And wait till you see this as we begin to get closer in. So that's the star field. I just want to say this. It's just a hypothesis. But what if the next stage of ascension is being able to become a star? Because there is certainly a lot of them out there. Look at this. So you take away the star field. Can I ask you, when I first saw this, I saw that as a human heart. That's what I saw. And that's Orion. There's Triangulum. Look at this, folks. So that's the infrared view from the Spitzer. So we come in here. Look at that. You know, if you believe the alien stories, apparently this is where the P-54 J-rods came from. Now, don't those look like beans to you over here? They do to me. I found this photo really interesting. And how they did the composite on this. And what I'm trying to show is that these, I don't know, these galaxies, these systems, that's why I know there's more than this life after we leave this plane. To see all this. So anyway, there you go. Not sure if you found that to be interesting, but I did. So, all right, folks. Well, it's been fun. I hope you've had fun. It's a great day. I'm going to go back, and the sun is shining here. Tomorrow, it's supposed to drop down to a high of 20 degrees. So, going to take advantage of that. I hope you do as well. All of you who are being affected by this virus, keep good health of yourselves. each one of you have a part in this. And wow, thank you for the $20 donation. Listen, it's going to go into a fund. This is what I'm telling you. Anyone that gives on this channel, we'll put it in here and we'll do something collectively with it down there. Who knows? I still like the idea of starting a company of empaths. Maybe J.J. Rawlings had it right. I swear. I'm telling you, there is some foundation to that. Think about this. I like this. I've told Trish G this before, that this is really something I think could really work. We'll have to work on that. Someone talked about starting a round table. Doc Illusion, I think that's a great idea. I love round tables. And we can do one on this channel. Any one of you who want to come on, write me, send me an email. StigerRWayne@gmail.com. We'll make it happen. Raven Wolf channel. She does that with a group that she has on her end, and I think it's fabulous. I just wish there's a way that we could expand it out. I know there's a number of you that live in Denver. I think come spring, we're going to start having local meetings here to where we can actually come together and meet face to face. Love to do it with all of us. That teleportation machine will be coming out in the next 6 months. Give us time. We'll figure it out. Yep, Davey, weekly roundtable. Davey, that would be a good thing also for our European audience. I think that'd be great to have even our good people down in Australia. So, yeah. By the way, I am in contact with one of the leading UFOologists in Australia. We're just trying to get our times worked out, but I'm going to have her on here. This week, by the way, Tuesday, we have Steve, the Super Sleuth. Looking forward to that. He's got some good footage of he did on the moon. We're going to have fun with that. Monday, tomorrow night, Daisy, talking about Planet X. Wednesday night, hopefully we'll get Jeff back on for the midweek report. Thursday, folks, by the way, let me do a gratuitous plug on myself. Give me 1 second. And thank you for allowing me to take your time on this. So, Thursday, I will be having my own show. It is 10 o'clock Eastern on the Artist First Network. This is where our good friend Jennifer Collins is at. So here's Jennifer right here. The only thing I'm trying to figure out is a name. Apparently, I'm just me. But anyway, so Thursday, this is where our Scott is the owner of this enterprise. They just signed a contract with the NFL. So this type of medium, internet radio, is where it's growing. And I'm happy. I've been wanting to go on radio for quite some time. I just hadn't found the right place to actually find this. So I'd invite all of you to come join Thursday night, Artist First Network, and they'll have everything up. I owe Scott my bio. So, but yeah, I think that this is a growing network. I think that the radio personalities that they have on here, and what I'm trying to say to each and every one of you here is this. is each of you has a voice. You do. And I want you to be able to speak your voice. I'm telling you, every one of you need to start your own YouTube channel. You really do. It's a legacy. Who knows? You may be more famous after you pass on than you are here. But the point is every one of you have knowledge to share. That's what I love about you folks. I mean, I've learned more from you in these past couple of years than much of a lifetime. And it's because of the kindness. It's because of the openness that we're willing to examine ideas here and not get so locked in to a particular point of view. So I encourage you, get your voice heard, get your voice out there, and I'll promote you. I'm sure that there will be others out there. I think that maybe this can spread, that the larger channels can start sowing into the younger channels. And I think that's the way we should go. So all of you are the best. Thank you for another great hour. Jeff, get your voice, find it. Now, it was funny. Jeff said, well, I woke up this morning and I couldn't talk. And he says, I lost my voice, of which he says, I'm sure that there are many applauding that. No, Jeff, we like your voice. We like what you have to say. Trish, get your voice better. We'll try to get you on here. Heidi will be coming back on as well. So, folks, this is our platform. Let's continue to grow together. I appreciate you. So thank you. And I'm not going to do a show tonight, but I will be doing one tomorrow. But I will be putting out some other programs. So thank you all. You be kind to one another, and we will talk soon. All right. Bye-bye.